Let's take a look at the Tamron 17-28 f2.8mm wide-angle lens. Alright, so this is a 17-28mm lens, which isn't the widest you can go, especially compared to this lens competitor, the G Master 17-35, which has a much higher price tag. But for the focal length and for the price, it's definitely not a bad deal. So I want to show you guys some pictures at 17mm and now 28mm. So the nice thing about this lens is that the aperture of f2.8, that will stay consistent throughout 17 all the way to 28. So it doesn't have a variable aperture, which some of the cheaper lenses on the market do. Another thing that's really nice about this lens is the zoom is entirely internal. So if I'm at 17 or 28, the lens physically is still going to stay the same size. So if I was going to put this on my stabilizer and I'm wanting to switch my focal lengths while I've already balanced my stabilizer, it's not going to throw it off and make me rebalance it. Which if the lens did extend, then you would have to rebalance it every time that you switch. Also, since we're on the topic of weight and balance, I definitely want to note that this lens is only 14 ounces, which when you compare it to its competitor, the G Master, that weighs 1.5 pounds. So whenever you're out and you're traveling and you have all your gear, having a lighter lens really goes a really long way. Going back to the topic of stabilizers, some stabilizers have weight limits. So my stabilizer that I own, it's the Zion Crane V2. It has, I believe, 3.5 pound limit, and I use the Sony A7iii. So with me using a full frame camera, that's already pushing it kind of close to that weight limit. So for me to have a lighter lens, it's just lighter whenever you're carrying it around, you're trying to get smooth shots. It's definitely a good thing to have. So moving on to the mount of this lens, whenever I got the lens, I actually thought it was a Sony A7iii mount, which is for full frame cameras, but it's actually Sony E, which is for crop sensors, but it still works fine with my A7iii. The A7iii just basically crops the edges out and you just get a more zoomed in picture. So you don't really have full frame sensor camera quality with this, but it's really hard to notice and it's pretty close in my opinion. The best uses for this lens, in my opinion, would be honestly anything you need a wide angle lens for. So what I've used this lens for is real estate, landscape, a little bit of photography, like portrait photography, more on the creative side, which the reason it still works for portrait photography is because it has that decently low aperture of f2.8, so you can still get away with a little bit of bokeh in your backgrounds and still have a nice touch on your image. So the price of this lens is $900, which compared to the competitor like the G Master, that's $1,600. So you're really not losing too much, and you guys can go out and watch some reviews of this lens versus the G Master and get a better feel of a comparison, but this is definitely the better budget lens in my opinion. And I will put a link in the description of the best price that I found on Amazon, and you guys can go check it out there, read some reviews. They're really pretty much all positive, so you can really get a feel for how good this lens is for the price that it is. And finally, I want to show you guys some test footage that I shot with the lens. This is a short film. I used the Sony A7iii with this lens. The whole short film was shot on this lens, moving from 17mm to 28mm. So yeah, check it out. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video if you liked it. If you didn't, double click the dislike button. Leave a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on the lens, what you thought of the short film, or anything else you want to mention. Also, remember that I put the best link for this lens in the description. If you want to check it out, you can. If not, that's fine. And make sure you guys subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.